been used in my life to reach at the stage where I have reached today. So I think this is definitely one thing that all of us need to have in our mind, that you are infinite. Fine. There is no protocol. There is no systematic approach or something that can take you to this thought. I think it is more of the internal feeling that one can have that you are infinite. It means you have a lot of energy with you to reach where you want to reach in your life. This is one of my favorite, which I follow as a student, as a professional, and as a person. There is no need of looking behind, forward. We all have infinite energy, infinite zeal, courage, patience. The only thing after this accumulating is all great things, all unaccomplished, impossible things, in fact, can be achieved in your life. With this thought, I'll just talk about what is, I think, current industrial scenario. I think in terms of industrial scenario, I think times are changing very fast. I would say every quarter the industry, trends will change, whether it's economics, whether it's oil prices, whether it's inflation, whether it's a hiring trend, whether it's a capital trend, or what not, because your thoughts changes. So, global competition, global data, global information is changing very fast. And one has to keep pace with that. I'm not saying that you have to accumulate each and everything, but at least be, keep a watch on those competition, keep a watch on those data, keep a watch on those trends is important. And you being in India, I think many times what happens, we think so much global that we lose focus on our basics, which is India. Fine. So back to India and see where we are. I think the biggest competition many times the India is with all our fastest growing economy in all the already developed economies. Fine. Developed economies will come later. All your UK and US will come later. But the first is the China, Brazil. Fine. All BRICS organization will come first. So China is in a risk. Every quarter you see some of the other metrics will change. Whether it's per capita income, whether it's inflation, whether it's FDI investment in e-commerce sector, IT sector, or what and what not. Make in India, I think with this new government, whether it's working or not working, it has a huge significance, huge importance on the kind of job opportunities, on the kind of development trends, on the kind of compensation trends, on the kind of India, on the kind of placing India in center within the world economy. I think it is very important. I don't know how many of you like studying economics and political things and what and related subject, but it is very important. More and more export you have, more and more you can grow. You can't grow with imports. Fine. So far, India has been a domestic consumption center, and that has been our economy indicator. GDP is the one where India is. I think if you read the past 10-year trends, you will see GDP is the one thing where India is, always been measured. Economy is measured, but those days are gone. I think I personally advocate a lot that export has to be a focus. Any one of you who comes from business background, means family or someone, you must have seen your parents, you must have seen your family talking about more and more selling, not more and more investing, not more and more consumption. Right? That is where the trend is. That is where if the trend changes, economy changes, business changes, and your trend will change. How it will change? See, when you consume inside, you have an internal focus. But when you start exporting, when you start delivering services, product X, Y, Z, services across you, then you will have external focus. It means you will have focus that yes, what I need to do to ensure my place is made in the market, first of all my place is sustainable in the market. What is it I need to do so that I should have a USP in the market, and what is that I should do so that more and more products and services are being sold in the market. And the market is huge. Whether it's e-commerce space, whether it's your IT space, whether it's your big data, whether it's your all analytics, fine. You see why there is a dearth, why there is a huge potential. What happens to the entrepreneurs? What happens in the last 2-3 years? There are so many entrepreneurs, so many companies, there are so many big innovation and idea they are talking about. Innovation and idea, I think these are always been in the first radar of the organization, always been in the values. But no one pays so much emphasis on this. Why? Because now today those innovations have been started recognizing in the right platform. I think just about, so India is in center, which means you are in the center, which means your skill is in the center, it means your acknowledgement is in the center. See, any organization where you will grow, where you will go, they will be doing some business, whether it's Indian based or MNC based, but they will be selling something outside. That's very clear. So, you are in the center. Whether it's I think we are catching up in the market or not, India versus China, I think 2015 onwards the gap is getting, you can see the gap is getting. Make in India, export needs to go more. Of course, oil prices, these are all indicators. I am not me. There will always be a one quarter, one metrics will be up, the other metrics could be down. But they are all certain metrics that one needs to keep in mind in order to understand where is my job, where I want to go. No, gone are the days where you have to go from India outside and look for a job. You being in Noida itself find a number of jobs. You being in Jaipur itself find a number of jobs. What is it? It means the trend has changed. It means someone has created a job for you. Yeah, I understand. I mean, you may have counted out how many jobs that I may or may not be, but I am talking about a general niche, general basic job, the pool of jobs. Number of billionaires, you see, last 10-year trend, it's been increasing. Their income has been increasing. Fine. So all this, it means industry scenario is up, hiring spree is up, development plans are there. India is in the focus. It means the years by the time by which you will be almost, I think, next 2 years, in the next 3 years, 1 more. Maximum you have 5 to 6 months to be ready with all your jobs, to be ready with have your offer letter in hand, to be ready with what kind of, or maybe the venture that you want to begin, whatever. In terms of skill development, I think there are 2 sections. Fine. There's certain things that one has to have in his hand. Like, you cannot grow without understanding your business, and that is where the major problem today is. There are a number of candidates who appear for interview, but they have no clue what this organization is about. And it is not about reading the internet. It's not about reading their Google or doing Google their website or something. Understanding the business is important. In simple words, will you be able to tell what Apple does, what all Apple do, what all IBM does, what all Accenture is doing, in which sector are they making the maximum profit? In the last year, what are the new arms, what are the new technologies they have entered? These are the things that one will do. Fine, whether it's a campus placement is there, whether your personal, when you're reading. So it's not about just, reading the website and then understanding few words and say, oh, I'm ready, I have read, have your paper ready, and just, you just comprehends it. You have to understand the business, which business they are in, how they can grow. Then only you will be able to do some kind of, you will be able to share better insights when interviewer or when a campus panel or when people are asking. These are some of the linkage that any good interviewer or any good company will see. No matter your HR, no matter your marketing, has no meaning. Ultimately, you're working for the organization. You have to understand the business. Understand your leaders. I think just a few minutes ago we were talking about that it's a leader mindset through which XYZ is being categorized. Fine, it's very, very important. How Steve Jobs thinks, how Facebook owner is thinking, or how, someone else is thinking is important. You have to read and understand leadership mindset. The Accenture, the IBMs, the P&Gs of the world, you have to understand their mindset, their leadership mindset. See, I remember I was attending a seminar long back, and I was hearing a city CHR. Her name is Anuranjita Kumar. You can Twitter her, you can Google her. She's one of my idols that I follow in HR. And I was reading that in this global financial crunch in 2009 or so, when city shares were almost in negative, what went city kept shining. And I think Anuranjita was sharing her thought that the leadership team, everyone is on the Bloomberg and seeing every second the price is going down. And for a financial institution and a banking, the price of stock is going down, and that also I think it went negative. Everyone leadership is paid in equity, half of their compensation is in equity. Fine. It is definitely a shock. It is definitely a place where people will say, oh, am I in the right job? But the kind of faith, the kind of leadership team, the kind of Vishal Pandit had lot of faith. I think the kind of people that he had chosen to work with him had lot of faith in the organization, had lot of faith in everyone continued their job. They worked for a year, day and night, and city prices, stock prices were again in positive. And all shared indexes. Fine? And no one, not even a single person in the leadership team have resigned or have left. So this is the faith, this is the organization. That is what you need to know before appearing for interview. And see whether it matches your value or not. It's very, very important. You know what happened? I think, forget about, there are too much of superficial things happening. Relate. If not, there are a number of opportunities. If not one, if you not get one, then the other job will be waiting for you. But do not compromise on your personal, on your individual goal, on your individual value. It needs to be articulated with the organization. Let me tell you, maybe you'll find initially difficult when you are in, because it's a first time. It needs some rehearsal, it needs some introspection, and then you need to choose your job. And I'm sure you are there. Try and read human psychology, of course. It takes time. It takes time. But then, being in HR, being in those positions where people interaction is higher, like marketing, some of the jobs which involves a lot of people interaction, start reading human psyche, their experiences, their repeated and possible outcome. It will take time, but I think it will start finally. That's how you'll be able to match your psyche with the organization and the people, and then you can match whether it's in harmony, whether it's in resonance, and then make the right decision for yourself. Otherwise, you may land up in a negative place. Networking is very, very important, guys. Very, very important. Now in these days, if at least I remember in my second job, I was given a target by my VP HR, who is a PhD scholar from XLRI, is that I have to have networking, outside networking, at least 20 people a quarter. And I remember from that day till now, it's almost 8 to 9 years from then, And I always believe a lot that networking is very important. And networking is just not about hello, hi, and sharing your Facebook and WhatsApp. It's beyond that. Sharing insights, sharing knowledge, understanding, rating yourself from people's eye, from your competitor's eye. It's important. So networking, both internal and external. You know, many times I've seen when we hire people, and that is the orientation session that we do. EduData, we have a fundamental, beautiful buddy program. In fact, we have a similar program in Dell also. We used to have, where we used to ensure that the people are networked properly. Internally, first they need to understand internally. You need to understand your finance, who's HR, who's IT, who's marketing, who's production. It's important to make a network. Start at 9 o'clock, let's say you are in the job, 6 o'clock you are out. No. Because you're spending time, you need to understand people. Then only, you'll be back to the second, understanding your leader, experience, human psychology, dealing with different people. It's important. Good. Yes.
What do you think is the role of HR in creating an internal network in the company?
Role of HR is about creating platforms for communication, and that is where employee engagement comes into the picture. But I am not guiding, I am not a principal to tell you go and talk to that person. I have to ensure that these channels are facilitated so transparently, so nicely, so that you can go very easily to that person and speak to. That is why you have your clear policy. That is why you have your intranet ready and X and YZ. Because many times what happens when things are not clear, you don't know who is finance, who is not finance, or who is HR, who is. So all that information need to be there at some place. Those are, I think that is what is our job, to make your life easy. Let's say when you go outside and you're driving over on the, on the main road, signals are there. So we are there to make those signals. After that, which turn to take, how to take, rightly, that is what. And I think initially the buddy program and the orientation program that we do, that is where we ensure that you are meeting, you are known to that person. But after that, that effort needs to be you. That is why it is a skill. Otherwise, it would have become a knowledge. And someone or somewhere, some institute must be teaching you. Skill cannot be taught. Skill can be only facilitated. It is need-based.
This facilitation part is only restricted after orientation, or it can be also extended post-orientation?
You can have more rehearsal, you can have more session to revive that, to have that culture. You can have various platforms. Let's say, as I told you in employee engagement, this is what is one of the jobs, that how often you ensure people meeting it. But once it becomes a culture, it becomes culture.
And this meeting can be in the form of events or outbound activities?
Absolutely. Meeting inside, outside, and not only networking and external. Networking does not mean always need-based. It means a general flow of information should happen, so that you understand the person. Good storyteller. For HR, it is very, very important. Story should be based on facts, of course. It's no more a mom story. Okay? Make it interesting. How you can ensure the same thing, fine, same thing, what is being told many a times, you can make it interesting. How you can change the tempo, how you can change the, the screenplay. It is like, the same movie is being released by some other director, but it gets hit, and just it gets hit. The formula remains same, you must have seen in your movie critics. That is where you have to play the role.
And can you have any example of a storyteller? Like,
I think
what exactly it means? Because I heard somewhere else also that this is one thing which companies are looking in HR today.
Absolutely.
That you can create that environment by, or you can give that message, not by directly stating something, but by creating some story around it.
Yeah.
And loading it, sometimes it's in YouTube or elsewhere, you create some image for your company and give that message.
Right.
Go to the outside world and to the inside.
Right. So I think, adding more information to your content is what is the story. So let's say when I begin, I think you can take today's example. When I began, I started with economics, inflation, per capita income, what and what not. But end of the day, it is industry trend. It moves around that. Similarly, when you are, just give an example, when you're explaining a policy, whether it's even if it's a leave policy, you can make it interesting. You can make it supportive with some data. You can make it supportive with some employee engagement survey that we have done. You can make it supportive with some kind of verbatim analysis that people would have spoken. So for that, you have to do a deep dive. Storytelling is not an easy art. What moms are doing with their kids is actually an art. Fine. I remember my manager when I began my career with CNB, and she was my manager. And I once went to Bangalore and she offered me to stay with her. So she was teaching her 5-year kid a story in which 1 hour story, the kid was only doing subtraction, addition, divide and what not. It was a king and a mango and I don't know what all characters came in. But the message was very clear from mom to the kid that you have to learn maths. Fine. So that is where you have to make a story. Add your personalization. I think storytelling is more like personalization. You have to understand. That is why you have to read. I think it is almost very handy. You have to understand your leaders. At the same time, being professional, you can add more story. You can. So everything has an objective. Please couple with objective. That is what is storytelling. Fine. See what customer wants is very important. You have to read what your customer wants. You can be failure. It's important. You have to fail to get. You have to fail, and I wish all of you fail once. Everyone has to fail in their life. Let me tell you. At least fail once. Tell God, allow me to fail one. It will give you high motivation. It will give you energy to outcome your barrier. It is not good to have success at first instance. Mind my words. Maybe. Again, it is my personal view. You can contradict. But it is important to fail. To succeed in life, to outreach in your life, to achieve those impossible things, it is important to fail. You can have normal success, but you will not be able to have extraordinary breakthrough success without failure. Integrity, no compromise. Being in HR, no compromise. This is something you should have in you. Please accept. Please start accepting if something is done. I think many times we have seen, and that is where I think institution has to play a lot, your personal values has to play a lot, but please be very stronger in integrity. Anything or everything which you think is wrong, raise your voice. It is expected from you, it is expected from HR professional or any profession for that matter. People advocacy, business growth. This is particularly for HR. It takes time to understand, it takes time to practice, but then you are advocate of people. Your job is to advocate people, you are people champion, but without compromising business. You have to see, I just give an example. Anytime what happened, being a government leader, there are days and there are times when every time the business is not growing, every time whatever project you put, company will always say, no, we don't have money, we can't do that. But at the same time, you have to ensure that people are, anyone who is working with you, you have to retain, you have to pay them properly, you have to reward them properly. So at the same time, you can be an advocate of people, but understand your business, understand what are the scenarios, understand the metrics and accordingly propose. It is just about, I talked about company, it could be anything, it could be recruitment budget, it could be engagement budgets, it could be any platform. Let's say company is declining, your top line is declining, you have put up a fundamentally wow proposal of 2 billion or 2 million. Sorry, it's not the stage. It means you have not done your homework, first and second. Back to basics. These are certain skills I think particularly in HR, there are certain roles that I think it all depends, where do you think you will be able to do well? I mean, you will be able, you have certain skills, you can generate skills from scratch, let me tell you. You will be having those skills, maybe it's like a Johari window. I don't know how many of you have learned, but it's like a Johari window which is not, some of the facts which are not even aware by you, some of the potential. So I think if you are in recruitment, placement where you want to recruit people, you have to have a good judge of character, you need to understand, you need to sell the organization. I think many a time when I remember when I was doing my MBA, this is a very common task which was given to us. Anything and everything that we were supposed to sell in the bus. Those times there was no metro. We were supposed to sell that in the bus. Being a marketing guy, we were supposed, whether it's a pen or something. So we had to create a lot of USP around that product and ensure that it is sold. You have to sell your organization. Read through how you can sell. I'm just forgetting the name of one of the movie, which is by Leonardo. I think it is on the share market something. I'm just not getting the name. Yes, you can read. You can, and it also has a book on this. You can watch. It is amazing. You can sell anything. You have to have that fire. No matter your HR, no matter your marketing, no matter your finance. Development and training specialist. Training demands premium communication. Training demands better understanding. Training demands future thinking. Competence specialist. If you don't have affinity to numbers, please do not opt for competence. Comp is all around numbers. Employee relations, labor, it's better understanding of laws, understanding collective bargaining. I'm sure you will be reading or you must have read. It's about negotiation, it's about women's situation, it's about handling communication at all levels. Huge. As I told you, it's infinite. It's infinite. In this universe, every energy is infinite and we all are a bundle of energy. When everyone is energy, we are respiring, we are living being. As long as we are living being, we all have energy. And the universal energy, if you read the physics theory, universe energy is infinite. It is the same energy which gets rotated. So you have infinite energy. Campus placement, as I told you, know your subject. There is no second thought to it. There is no second thought to it. You have to burn midnight oil, but you have to be subject matter expert. Industry scenario depends from all economic indicators. No matter you like the number or do not like the number, we have to support your data with facts. Those gone are the days where you can only talk about and then run away or get away with your argument. You have to support with some key metrics. That could be, and that is and you have to have a primary and secondary source of data. Primary has to be a quantitative data with numbers. Economy and political factor. Do not forget to keep yourself abreast with the changes. Whether it's a Greece inflation, whether it's a Greece market down, what impact it bring to Sensex and Nasdaq, it's very, very important. Current challenges and issues, and show your perspective. Find many times a case study. Normally you solve the case study where you have to talk in pros and cons, both with with the case study and being with it and outside with it. So I think you can have your own perspective. No one is changing your perspective, and I'm not saying you should change your perspective. It should be intricately tied to your values. It should be intricately tied to your thoughts. But show your perspective. After reading, after understanding, what do you think is right. So I think the missing piece which I have personally seen in campus placement is that you read, but you you've got to share and formulate your perspective on that. What do you think of this information? That is very important. So it means after reading, you have to start summarizing in your mind. What do you think? You do may have a different perspective, which is fine. But this is what an interviewer or a company is looking at. Analytical attitude. It is important to have perseverance and patience. Many times it is missing when we go and hire. Give yourself time. I understand. If you pick up any story, whether it's a Flipkart story or a Snapdeal story or a Shopify story or even a Steve Jobs story, everything involved patience, everything involved history, nothing happened overnight. So you have to have patience. Many a time, this is what is seen that just within 6 months, everything wants to be achieved. Things will follow. But please follow certain principles and you are done. Just last and then I'll take the questions. I think it's important. I just want to share a small perspective here. And I think so it's important to have a knowledge or competencies. Fine. And this is what I have personally seen missing from some of the people that I have hired. Or normally, I mean, when I was also in my MBA, I was also like that. So it was like same start that I see. You are even much brighter than me. So there were 4 friends, and this is a story that I keep telling my child, I keep telling my students whenever I go. There are 4 students. 3 of them were like engineers, very knowledgeable. The 4th friend was like graduate, did not have technical skill, but they were good friends. Fine. One day they thought, after graduating, there's no job. It's a history. Okay, no jobs are there after graduations or degree. So what happened? They said, okay, now there's enough at home. Let's go out. So they went out. They went out different town looking for a job. They went one town. They said, I know this. I'm an engineer. The other said, I'm this. The 4th one said, oh, I'm this. So definitely the 4th did not have a technical skill or not very educated, so he did not get job. One after the other town, days have passed. They were passing through a dense forest. Before passing through a dense forest, all of them were very highly intellectual. The one said, oh, there's a heap of bones lying there. I said, okay. What is it? All 3 of them inquisitively started looking at it. Oh, it looks like some animal or something. So suddenly, one of the intellectual guy said, okay, this is the time to grow our knowledge. The fourth one was looking at them very surprisingly because he always felt that all 3 of them are premium. So he said, okay. So the first one said, with my knowledge, I will assemble the discrete bones. Okay, and he made the skeleton out of that bone. The other one said, oh, now your job is done. It's just a skeleton. The other said, I will put a flesh and the blood in. He said, okay, wow, flesh and blood is also ready. The third one said, now it's my turn, I will put a life in it. By the time the skeleton was ready, it was like a lion. Fine, roaring lion, huge lion was ready. But I will put a flesh and blood, it was almost ready, lion was completely ready, only without life. The third one said, oh, now my time comes, I want to put a life in it. And I will show my knowledge. The fourth one said, guys, hold on. The moment the lion is alive, he will eat us. So you shut up. First, anyways you're not graduated, you don't know anything, and now you're scaring us. He said, okay, hold on, even if you're ready not to listen to me, allow me to climb to the tree. And the same happened. He climbed the tree, only he would save all people died by the time. So the answer is, the morale is, the knowledge is nothing if you don't have common sense. You should know the practical applications. If you're a doctor, you can't just come and cut my hand and start, doing some operation. Unless until I need to be operated. So I think that is very important. The moment you understand the application, the moment you understand the sense of it, applying, application, you are done. Thank you so much. Yes.
When you go to any recruitment process or any campus placement time, what qualities do you look for in the students?
All English should be there.
Apart from communication and knowledge.
All this should be there. At least when I personally interviewed, when I personally went, like when I was in the Dell, fine, I went for campus placement, these are the things. And these are the basic things which were missing. And believe you me, out of 100%, these qualities, these are easy. If you start preparing, I'm sure some of you may have, if you start focusing on this, it will take 6 to 8 months to attain these skills. It is not that easy what I mean, it will take a regular, it's like a regular habit. It's like a regular reading. It's like a regular spending, investing your time. If you know industry, I will hire you. You know, if you know your leader, if you know what is my USP of the organization, I will immediately hire you. If you have perseverance and patience, I will hire you. If you follow certain things, forget about one offer, you will have multiple offers. And then that's exactly as I said. Do not think on outcome. And that is where the problem begins. It's fine to think on outcome, which is okay. You should have a, you know, I read somewhere you should not have a goal, you should have a plan.
What happens is like a person gets rejected by any company. He's not sharing feedback at what point he got rejected. So that is why one should know what is the reason, what made him that he is not selected.
See, there are multiple reasons for that. Sometimes what happens because of XYZ reason it's not been shared. Fine. There are certain organization-related factors, and also you will also, be in the job, you'll find it. But acquiring certain skill of this, having a better knowledge, being a, your subject matter expert, industry, knowledge. See, communication skill is something you can't be rated on 1 to 10. Let me tell you very clearly. Fine. I have been training people, and I think it's not something you can rate 1 to 10. You should be able to articulate. You should be able to convey what you want to convey. We have hired people who speak Hindi, but they speak sense. So, I mean, it is important. See, English is important. I will not say it's a business language when you go out, but then it is important to, it is important to understand what you want to say. To understand when you're talking sense. You're talking when you're choosing. You can be a simple English. You can talk in simple English. You don't need to use best of the words or something and all that, which is okay. But you need to talk in simple English, of course. In having those communication skills, you have to work on communication skills. You have to come out of this fear of public speaking and all. Right? So you have to work on certain things. All that you can, I'm sure you have a comprehensive curriculum here. But the point is, many times you speak English. I've seen many people speak English, but they don't know what to speak. The speaking should have intent. Life is useless and non-living without intent. You can reach out to me and follow me on Twitter. Or yes,
Even ask questions at the end.
Ma'am, you told in your first slide about the China's economy, the way it is, then you talked about Make in India. So where does the HRM make impact in the economy?
see, again, one of the days, and I'm sure my colleague will definitely, one of the days where we used to say, or HR used to take a back seat. You have taken a seat, you have taken a seat in the boardroom. So everything matters first of all. You have taken any small change in even PF, even gratuity has a huge impact on your wage bill. Has a huge impact. The wage bill has a huge impact on your productivity and the bottom line. So all these things will generate revenue. All these things will generate jobs. All these things will generate will keep the sentiment up or down, whatever in the global environment. You can't just get away with it that I don't need to support my argument without it. I told you, somewhere I told you, and I again reiterate, please support your finding with data, metrics. That is what is my meaning of storytelling is that. My meaning of storytelling is not like a baby story. or bedtime stories. But yeah, what if story is fascinating? Similarly, you have to fascinate someone who's sitting next to you. Why are you listening to me? Tell me. Of course, it's a compulsion. Beside that,
If it makes sense, then listen to you.
similarly, you have to ensure that your things will make sense and people should listen to you. You have to have that power to fascinate people. Even if the 50% audience is listening, your job is done.
One more thing, ma'am. Like you.
I think, excuse me,
We can take questions.
we can take the question because that might be also.
We will surely going to take questions at the end. I know you have something in your mind. But we
Thank
have
you.
good time for the second.